And welcome back, everyone, to the Shark Bros podcast. This is episode 3 of H.P. Lovecraft.
Well, it's episode 2 of H.P. Lovecraft. Episode 3 overall.
So episode 2 of the H.P. Lovecraft series.
Lovecraftian trilogy.
The Lovecraftian trilogy. Because we're gluttons for punishment. I'm Kyle.
And I'm Mikey.
And I love pain.
And I love to get my nuts kicked in.
Daddy likes to be spanked. You ever just say that to your significant other? I like to get spanked.
Say weird things to see what their reaction is.
I love doing that to my wife. I just say weird stuff to her all the time. It's a game we play. I
feel like you're the only one playing. She's just along for the ride.
It's consensual. She agreed.
She agreed to marry you. I feel like she didn't agree to some of the games that you play.
Like hiding. I love telling her that she's like, I'm on my way home. Do you need anything? I'm like, I need you to get here quicker because all the lights are off and I'm hiding somewhere.
I don't even have to tell Jen that. If I just walk into a dark room and just stand there, she starts to freak out.
Mike!
She does. Mike, where are you at? Mike. This is not funny. I found out by the way, that Trinity does not like it when you squat down like a goblin and chase her side straddle like a crab. She does not appreciate that.
No, the goblin. I love the goblin. Goblins.
Now goblins.
Listen,
everybody knows about. I mean,
you're
gonna get some goblin blood on you.
Listen, if you're going into a goblin den, you're gonna get some goblin blood on you. Now I don't want him in bed with a goblin. If no one's ever seen Alex Jones talk about goblins, y'all need to. Okay,
you're missing out if you haven't heard.
You need to find some goblin talk
because he's committing political succubus with goblins.
I don't want him committing political succubus with a goblin. I don't want him in. Is it different than him being in bed with a goblin? Being married to a goblin? Is he going to impregnate a goblin? All the questions that you would ask yourself as a normal, sane human being.
Day-to-day questions that you have about Donald Trump's presidency, or Donald Trump's presidency,
yes,
as it relates to goblins.
Are analogous.
It answers all of your goblin-related questions.
Analogous to goblin culture, apparently. Apparently. If you didn't know. But what is your beverage of choice? I have this night
an infusion vanilla bean blonde, which was brewed right here in Omaha, Nebraska. It is like drinking a cream soda beer.
Ooh, that sounds really tasty. I do like cream soda. I'm a big fan.
It's delicious.
It is delicious.
What about you?
I'm drinking. I think it's going to be maybe a favorite of mine. Company out of Grand Haven. Oddside Ales, man. Again
with the Oddside Ales.
Yeah, sweet potato souffle rye ale.
I have mixed feelings about sweet potato souffle in my beer.
Listen, don't doubt me here. Okay, the last one was good. It was peanut butter and jelly, right? And so this week I got a rye ale with sweet potatoes, cinnamon, nutmeg, and lactose, aged in a rye whiskey barrel. And it's super sweet. It's very sweet.
I'm just unsure.
You're not convinced?
I'm unconvinced.
It's really good though. I'm very. It's like, it's kind of like a. You can definitely taste the potato a little bit, the sweet potato. You can definitely taste that. Definitely taste the rye, and I can definitely taste the like the big spice notes of like the nutmeg.
Huh.
Cinnamon kind of gets lost. I guess in the lactose makes it a little bit smoother. But yeah, that's it's interesting. It's got a weird aftertaste though. I don't
It
know how
might
I'm gonna.
actually be the lactose that's giving it the weird aftertaste.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Seems like it's not growing on you as you drink more.
No, initially I think on small amounts.
If you just
very
had just a whisper, just a hint,
just a
just a,
just a whisper, just a little butterfly kiss in the ear. Well, I've made my bed, so
now you got to drink in it.
now I gotta drink it. Now I lay me down to cheat.
GNS favorite, old David Allen Coe.
Oh, jeez, I'll tell you. Now I lay me down to cheat. All over that snow. Oh, good time. But today, though, we're going to be talking about.
If only we're talking about David Allen Coe.
Well, that'd be another complicated issue. But we're talking about an equally complicated human being, H.P. Lovecraft, and the Cats of Ulthar. Mikey, what are the Cats of Ulthar about?
Let me tell you guys.
What are those dang ass cats doing at Ulthar?
Let me tell you about those cats in Ulthar, because it is said that in Ulthar, beyond the river Sky, no man may kill a cat.
Okay,
that's where it starts.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, in this story, they tell you why. Because before they forbade, killing cats, there was an old man and his wife who lived on the outside of town, and they took pleasure in trapping and slaying cats that came near their hovel. So this they did for a long time, and people avoided them because apparently this old man and his wife were scary, so nobody said anything to them, but they knew that if you were missing a cat, odds are your cat went to this old woman and old man's house, and they done killed it.
The Smiths. You just know not to go to. Janet and Robert are not the norm here.
Janet and Robert are just odd. They're just odd.
They're just odd, It's
odd as the Dickens. They just don't like the kitty cats.
They, last week I ran into her at the laundromat and I was like, Janet, I don't want to be, intrusive, but you gotta stop hanging all those cats off that damn tree. It's scaring all the neighborhood kids.
Also, you killed Mr. Tittles 2 weeks ago, right. And I'm still cross.
I'm real cross about that, and I had a deposit down on that cat for the vet, and then she just up and yelled at me about something about the phonetic manuscripts or something. I thought I just left. It was just best if I left.
It was just real awkward. So, anyway, so these people are out killing cats. Nobody stops them. And then a caravan pulls into town full of dark wanderers. It's important that we mention that they're dark-skinned, because otherwise it wouldn't be a Lovecraft story if we weren't talking about their skin color.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be Lovecraftian without little hints of his
overtones of
xenophobia and overtones of racism.
So,
which I'm sorry, folks, it just kind of comes through. Like
some things you can't unsee. Once you know it's there, you can't unsee it.
Right. There's not a whole lot of reasons why he had to go into describing it, but he does.
Anyway, so a caravan pulls into town full of gypsies, apparently.
Yep. They can't just be merchants. They have to be gypsies.
I mean, they're essentially gypsies. Like, just go with it. So they the leader wears a headdress with horns on it and a disc between them, because he's apparently some sort of high priest of some. You'll never find out what it is, but he's some weird guy apparently. Anyway, In this caravan is a little boy who's an orphan who has a tiny black cat. He has nothing else in the world except for his black cat. It's all that makes him happy. And then while they're there, 3 days in, Mayonnaise is the boy's name. Can't find his cat. And he goes in the marketplace and they tell him, seems pretty likely that your cat got killed by those 2 old folks on the edge of town.
It's just the way you put it. Seems like Barney Fife.
Well, them folks up there on the hill, they've been known to take up critters. So y'all better just get up on out of town.
Yeah, listen. I don't want to alarm you, but it was probably old Janet and Robert Smith. They probably killed your cat. Now I can't go over there and rouse them up. They're old now. But I'll tell you what I can do.
I can tell you all to leave.
I can tell you to get the fuck out of my town. How about that?
So he's crying, and then his cries turn to meditation and then prayer. He starts some weird ritual.
He's casting spells. He's a king necromancer.
He's a necromancer, apparently.
He's 5 and he's a necromancer, apparently.
A wizard at the very least.
Yep. You're a wizard, Harry!
The clouds start changing shapes. The sky gets weird. Nebulous figures appear.
Right.
And then
mysterious.
Gets real mysterious. And then that night, the caravan leaves and they were never
seen again.
Never to be seen again. All those people are never to be seen again. But from each home, they notice that all the cats have vanished. And they suppose...
They are not at their hearths where they're supposed to be.
They're not at their hearths. So they suppose that the old man and old woman have killed them all.
Now that you got... Oh, first off, that's a lot of work in one night. 2 old people killing, what, at least 100 cats?
Well, now these are simple folk. And they don't know much better.
Now, albeit that they might be simple folk, they're real good at killing cats. We're talking about 2 trained killers. Serial murderers.
So, little Atel, who we met in the other gods, here's Atel as a boy.
If you watch the first episode, if you watch and listen to that, we go over the other gods, and Adel, he's in that story older, but here he's a young man.
He's mentioned just as briefly, seemingly, in this story as he is in that story. Just as much exposition about him. He's the innkeeper's son. He told everybody that he saw all the cats in that yard under the tree, pacing slowly in a circle around the cottage in some weird, unheard of rite of beasts. They brush him aside, say, no, boy, that's not what happened.
No. You're an idiot.
So they go to sleep in vain anger. When they awoke, every cat was back at its hearth. All the cats are back, and they seem sleek and fat, purring contentedly. So then, the burgomaster decides that he...
Also, what the hell is a... When I heard burgomaster, I was like, so he makes hamburgers real good? Like he is the... I am the burgomaster!
Behold the burgomaster.
Like, oh man, H.P. Lovecraft's doing some scary shit. He's a burgomaster? What is that? That's like hitting a high-level monster in an RPG. I am the burgomaster. All right.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. It just hit me. That was a very particularly funny part. I laughed out loud. I was like, burgomaster. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna have to look that up later.
So, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the cats all come back, but then they won't eat their food. So for 2 whole days, the cats wouldn't touch food, but they would only doze by the fire or by the sun. And then a week later, the villagers noticed that the old folks couple hadn't turned their lights on in a week. And then the what's his name?
Burgermaster.
The Burgermaster goes up to the hill, took with him the blacksmith and the stonecutter as witnesses.
Like,
break the door down.
He's like, I gotta get all the muscle in this town.
Give me the
I'm not going
blacksmith
up
and
there
the
by
stonecutter.
myself. Yeah, you brought the two biggest sons of bitches you could find.
Without a doubt, he brought the two biggest dudes with him.
Which I did enjoy that part. I'm like, that's smart. That's actually smart.
Take the two tough dudes with you.
Yep.
But they go inside, they break the door down, two cleanly picked human skeletons on the floor. So then there was much talk among the burgesses of Ulthar and Zath. The coroner disputed with the notary about what had happened. They were overwhelmed with questions. And little Atal was given a sweet treat as a reward.
It gets me every time.
A sweet meat.
Just out of nowhere. They're like, and little Atal got a sweet treat.
A sweet meat.
Oh, a sweet meat as a
sweet
reward.
Meat. So then they would talk of the Cotter and his wife, caravans of dark wanderers, of Menes, the little boy, and his sky during his prayer, and the cats. And in the end, the burgesses passed that remarkable law, which is told of by traders in the Hotheg and discussed by travelers in Nir, namely, that in Ulthar, no man may kill a cat.
No man may kill a cat.
No man may kill a cat in Ulthar.
In Ulthar, no man kills a cat.
If ye kill a cat, 2 shekels shall ye pay, and a gallon of blood.
I mean, if it was, I'm like, it's just so ridiculous.
That's the cats of Ulthar.
That's the cats of. Now, I will say, I enjoyed this story far more than the other gods. Now, that's not saying much.
It's not saying much, but I would agree.
Like, this is far more consumable, and like as a short story, it's got a conclusive and coherent beginning, middle, and end. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. There are two villains essentially that everyone is scared to approach. They make they're killing cats for no particular reason, which is strange. Like as a village in like a medieval society, you'd be like, if there was two weird fucks doing shit like that, they'd be the first people that you question in medieval society. Like they're up to some necromantic shit. We're taking them out.
Right?
No, they're just like, we're too scared of them. These two old people, wicked killers. Now, if they can kill at least 1 to 2 cats per month, imagine what they can do to a human being.
Extrapolate that information. How many humans they can kill a year?
Right. Just imagine their old, feeble arms, the amount of strength they have in those, just slowly clambering at you and trying to suffocate you with their weak hands. As they wrap their feeble, osteoporosis-ridden hands around your neck. Pressing kind of hard, but not hard enough for you to really feel threatened. Do you want that to happen?
Like, uncomfortable? You're uncomfortable, but you're not in any danger?
Do you want to feel uncomfortable for 10 to 15 minutes until they get all tuckered out? Is that what you want? Zath the coroner?
Gosh.
You're not gonna get your hands around. They're not gonna kill the stonecutter or the blacksmith. I was hoping to see the stonecutter like kick the door down and like sludge hammer the old broad in the chest or something, like through a window.
He took his mighty hammer and caved in her breastplate.
and lo, Greg the stonecutter hewn her skull in twain with his mighty hammer. You're like, holy shit.
Thul cut her chest off with his mighty axe. And
cleaved her in twain.
And Shang the blacksmith caved the husband's chest in with a mighty blow of his hammer.
He struck him so hard upon his chest that he flew through the wall, down the cavernous peaks of Althar.
Down he landed, and then he rolled up Hatha Clegg. Rolled up the mountain he did, a full cubit wide.
Okay, we gotta get back up. Oh, dying. Oh, okay, so I like this one. And it's also like you feel a little bit more drawn. Like obviously I have 2 cats. I love cats. But I was like I actually felt for one of the characters actually in this.
But
I was like, hell yeah, man. Cast that necrotic shit. Kill those 2 people. You do what you gotta do.
kill those cat killers.
Kill those cat killers.
Yeah, like you actually get some character development in the story. Like you get to learn a little bit. Why do I care about Menes? He's an orphan. The only thing he has is this cat. Like you actually care about him as a character.
Right. This
Then
tiny
he
wee
leaves.
little kitten. Yeah. And then he leaves after he casts a necrotic spell that summons. Well, and this is where it comes a problem, right? This is the problem. He casts a spell, right? And
Yep.
then there are some movements in the sky, right? And then there is things just happen. Like apparently the gods, and I'm probably saying specifically like the Lovecraftian mythos, right? Or
Is it though? Because
pantheon. The pantheon.
when it talks about the caravan rolling into town, it says, but they were given to strange prayers, and they had painted on the sides of their wagons strange figures with human bodies and the heads of cats, hawks, rams, and lions, which sounds suspiciously like Egyptian gods.
Right. I'm assuming like they're like when he prays, what he actually is praying to is the what they might perceive like so if you don't know some lore, some Lovecraftian lore is that the perceivable like old ones we perceive as anthropomorphized humanoids because that's the only way our brains can perceive them because they're apparently so crazy powerful and mysterious that the only way our puny little brains can comprehend them. So it's like, okay,
You can't see them as tentacle monsters.
Apparently, their true form would explode your face. Apparently, I don't know. It would cave it inward. I don't know. So, I again, I'm like, okay, so the gods, the whether it be the ultimate gods, the old ones,
The other gods.
Right. I mean, the other gods are like there's the other gods, there's the ultimate gods, and then there are the great old ones. And it's like, well, one of those pantheons,
and the earth gods.
Well, the earth gods. Listen, earth gods, they suck. They're out. Listen. Those are with the old. We got great people coming in. They're huge.
Some great gods coming in.
Some of the greatest gods coming in.
These are the elder gods. These are the big shooters. These are the money guys.
Right. The ultimate gods are the best ever. Period. So I assume one of those pantheons grants this wee little child's plea to vengefully have them eaten alive by cat. Now, This is where people are like, isn't that like again? I get our criticism before. People are like, isn't that crazy? Like the gods would just grant some kind of random, like gruesome act. And I'm like, well, they did kill his cat, and I'm like, if that's like, are they that petty where they're like, yeah, I'll grant that. He's like,
I'll kill 2 people for killing 1 cat.
I'll have them doesn't it seem? I don't know. It seems like an awful lot of work for a higher deity to be like, I'll grant that request. Like, there are gods in many different sci-fi movie like novels, right? That don't have that type of interaction with their human counterparts. And somehow, this kid who has a cat is like, they killed my cat. I want you to do something to him, because it's not stated that he wants them to kill them or hurt them. You just assume that he prays to them that they killed his cat, and then they took it upon themselves to like, well, they did kill his cat. This kid's okay. Let's have them be murdered to death by being eaten by cats.
Let's have them be eaten alive by cats.
This is more than what Greek and Roman gods have in actively being part of their worshippers' lives. Like this
in
is
pettiness. In pettiness.
Just in pettiness.
That guy ran over my foot with a cart. Turn him into a rock.
I want you to turn him into 400 snails that all get eaten in a flash pan of grease
every day for the rest of eternity.
Right. He will have to push a boulder up a mountain. Oh no, that's already been done.
Wait. You'll have to hold the world up on. Wait.
Oh no. I'm taking from too many already written stories. So
H.P. Lovecraft, king of. Oops, I took that from a different story, from a different mythology.
Ooh, the Phlegathon. Ooh, I guess I could slip that in there.
Nobody knows what the Phlegathon is.
It's fiction, so
these peons don't know what the Phlegathon is.
These backwards people know nothing. So I mean, I'll say I enjoyed this. In that it's short and concise. It's a short, concise, short story. I don't need a whole lot of exposition. There's not a whole lot of like unresolved character development or characters that are just in it. Like it makes more sense to me as a short story than like the other gods. The other gods I had problems with, and we stated that in the one. But like here, it's pretty straightforward. And like that's successful. It's really short. It's maybe 2 pages, maybe.
Yeah, it's real short.
It's a great little. I think it's a. No, I shouldn't say great. I'm trying to be.
That's
nice.
Generous.
That's very generous. It's a decent, very engaging story. Although it is odd, I will say that the beginning paragraph, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
and this is where I guess this is the big critique that I would say of H.P. Lovecraft. And this is where it kind of gets, I guess, a little bit more serious, where it's like, this is why we're saying it's hard to separate what you know about H.P. Lovecraft, because there are things in his writing that come out and you're like, oh man, that's a little rough. Like he is, so this is, to quote H.P. Lovecraft, okay? It is said that in Ulthar, which lies beyond the sky, no man may kill a cat. And this I can verily believe, as I gaze upon him who sitteth purring before the fire. For the cat is cryptic and close to strange things which men cannot see. He is the soul of antique Egyptus and bearer of the tales from forgotten city of Meroe or Orphir. He is the kin of the jungle lords and heir to the secrets of Horay and sinister Africa. Goo! What?
Pale and sinister Africa.
That's a little rough. You had to use sinister Africa?
Hoary and sinister Africa.
Yeah, Hoary and sinister Africa.
Which Hoary, I had to look up that word. Yeah. Hoary.
Yes.
Meaning either grayish white or old and trite.
Right.
So old and trite and sinister Africa. Also, the Sphinx is his cousin and he speaks her language, but he's more ancient than. So the cat is more ancient than the Sphinx and remembers what they have forgotten. What?
Okay. I
Cats
mean,
are older than sphinxes and more cryptic.
I guess you could say that the species of cat, yeah, it could be older than sphinxes, and that's
Sphinxes aren't real.
well. I mean, sphinxes, as in again, we're crossing over. Again, there's this weird, like he tiptoes back and forth between Earth and the dreamscape.
Are we talking about cats? Like cats in Ulthar are more ancient than sphinxes, or cats in Ulthar are more ancient than sphinxes in Earth?
Exactly. You don't know.
You don't know because
Again,
it doesn't explain. He's just
he
mixing
doesn't.
metaphors.
Yeah, he's mixing his he's mixing metaphors. He switches from. Are you talking about like a sphinx as a real corporeal being, or are you talking about the sculptures on Earth? There's not a whole lot of context there because you're again it's
people in glass houses sink ships.
the fuck.
I feel like you're mixing metaphors, sir. Nope.
People
in glass
houses
sink ships.
That's how it is in Ulthar.
People who live in submarines shouldn't throw a.
In Ulthar, that is what's said.
That is the saying in Ulthar.
That is the saying.
There's submarines in Ulthar? Yes. They are more ancient than cats.
You're a submarine. Your wife is a submarine.
Your wife is a
He's
submarine.
a whore. You're like, I don't know what that means. So yes, there are little tall-tale signs of like some of the inherent shittiness of Lovecraft's personality that come through in his word choices. But overall, do I think it's a bad story? Save some few little things. Not necessarily. I'm not going to be too overly generous with it and say that it's a great story because, like we just said, there are contextual issues here that are unresolved, and they confuse the reader. Like, where am I at in this? Where's the location? Where's the setting? Am I on Earth?
You're in Ulthar.
Right. If you came into this, right? Here's the thing I think we talked about before in the podcast is accessibility, right? I can't access this. I don't have a context of where the fuck Ulthar is. That was probably the most frustrating thing between the other gods and Cats of Ulthar. I'm like, where's Ulthar? He doesn't say in Ulthar. He just says in Ulthar, which lies beyond the river sky. I don't know what those two things are, nor have you told me where they are or how to get there. Do I have to ride a large white dog dragon?
Take the cloud ship there, Kyle.
Right. Do I take the god cloud ship? Do I need to do a friggin' never-ending story where I jump on a large dog dragon and fly through the clouds? What do I need to do? And where is it? I don't have any context of that. That's not fun for me.
And you haven't made me care.
Only thing I care about is the little dude who's like meanies who they kill his tiny kitten. And I'm like, I have a black kitten. Don't do that.
Also, how about the notion that this little kid
can cast necromantic spells?
Cast this spell to make
curse.
Cats
I guess you call it a
people.
curse. You call it a curse.
He casts a curse to make cats eat people.
Mm-hmm.
What are you teaching this kid in your weird caravan, people?
But man, listen. Again, it's like,
and there's apparently no justice in this universe either, because even though they're not great people, the townspeople aren't like, well, I guess we should go track down that caravan since they murdered two people.
Well, but you can't prove that they murdered them. You can't prove that the cats murdered them.
They can't prove the cats murdered him either.
Well, then why are you going to go after? You can't go after the people and the gypsies.
Well, just if you're just going off of this medieval circumstantial justice, these people rolled into
true.
People rolled into town This kid's cat died. These 2 people who are notorious for killing cats also died. Those people ran out of town before we found out.
Looks like divine justice to me. The sheriff rolls up. Well, I'm just a simple, lowly sheriff here in Althar, but looks like they had what's coming to them.
Looks like Cthulhu got his vengeance.
Well, looks like old Andy Meanies cast a voodoo magic spell, and they just ended up dead. Well, time to bury him. Like,
call the coroner.
Like, again, there's not enough world building that we get in these 2 small stories to be like, there's like, is that way they handle stuff in general? They're like, well, it'll just sort itself out. Someone will cast a spell or a curse, and then we'll pass a law that you can't kill cats because the gods get very offended because cats are ancient and they can see things.
But none of these people know that, though.
Exactly.
Kill some folks, and that's the catalyst for you to be like, well, I guess we should make killing cats illegal now that these gypsies rolled into town, murdered 2 people. Guess we should tell them we can't kill cats anymore.
Don't.
The only few people in town who kill cats are dead. We should pass a law saying you can't kill cats anymore. Great job. Nice law passing, Captain Hindsight.
Right. Well,
the threat's gone. Let's make it illegal.
Listen. We know cats are dangerous now. The best thing we can do is be preventative.
That's like if you started saying, like, well, we got to stop Canadians from entering into the States across the border. That's not a problem. Well, we should make it illegal then.
Right. We should make it illegal or set Canada on fire.
Well, someone go find Menes and have him.
The whole country
on fire.
The whole country has to be set on fire.
Whole country.
Whole country.
Kill
we
them
have
all.
to be preventative. We have to prevent these massacres from happening.
Nyarlathotep demands it.
Don't get me started on the Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos. We'll be covering next, by the way. Nyarlathotep, the crawling chaos, because boy howdy,
boy howdy is right.
Boy howdy, I tell you, folks, this is it's only getting worse. Like this was a great little intermediate lull in, it not being so terrible that like there's not enough there to really critique, right? It's so short. It's a page.
I mean, I have critiques, but I have less than I had for the other guy.
Right. There's more questions than answers than the other guys. In this one, you're like, well, they're a small town. They don't know how to handle something, which makes sense in medieval society of some kind.
But you don't know it's medieval society, by the way. You don't know what time place it's taking place in.
Right. You have no idea what kind of time frame or technological period that they're in. You don't know if it's modern. You don't know if it's medieval. I assume it's medieval.
Me too.
I was talking about also. Yeah, I just assumed they don't have any clues or context clues that like the burgomaster whipped out his pistol and shot the motherfucker and shot him with his musket. Like there's no context to any of that. So like I just assume it's medieval culture, and like for the most part, I guess that stays true. It's like there's a landowner. He takes a smithy and a stonemason to go deal with a problem that he's been neglecting for a while because they're like, we're just a small town. We don't really know how to deal with stuff like this. Like there are no town guards either. Like as a fantasy town, this is the town I would send my players in just to fuck with them. Like Althar is the town you send players to punish your players because maybe a little while ago they did something that you didn't like. Althar, they're like, they show up, there's no town guards, it's just everybody, it's essentially martial law. No one has to worry about crime because everyone has a sword. Like, everybody's packing. There are no town guards, but everyone's packing. And there's like some kooky people.
Not in this town, apparently. They're all staying inside their hovels, letting these people
murder cats. So nobody's armed. So like in this one, nobody's armed. There's not an armed peasant among them. There's not a pitchfork.
The blacksmith and the stonecutter are the two only people that are armed with their tools.
Right. They're like, we both got some hammers.
And some chisels.
I'll stab the bitch right in the eye. I don't even care.
I've got this hot rod of iron.
Yeah.
I'll stick her through.
Right. I'm gonna heat this rod of iron. We're gonna run towards the house. You're gonna kick the door open. I'll come through and I will shove it through the first person I see. It will cauterize the wound. We will keep one of them alive. The other one will have to brutally murder. You'll have to come in after I stab him and pin him to the wall, and you'll have to crush his head in with your hammer. It's going to be brutal. We may even have nightmares for all of our lives, but
there's no time for questions because the iron only stays hot for so long.
There's no time for questions. I've already heated up the metal.
Let's go!
We go! He picks it up with his bare hand.
Leroy Jenkins!
It just charges headlong into the fray.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's as good a place of any for us to wrap this episode.
That would have been a far better ending.
That would have been a far better ending.
Yeah.
Gosh, what was he thinking?
Some of us may die. But it's a chance we have to take.
Some of you two, the Burgermaster's like, some of you two may die, but that's a chance I'm willing to take.
I'm willing to take. I'm going to use you as a human shield.
Woo! All right. Woo!
All right. The next episode will be on Narlethatap. Please make sure to check us out on SoundCloud, on
YouTube, on
Facebook. We have our own Instagram page as well that we're posting stuff on. Usually, there's just wacky images that I find that I think explain what we're feeling, or they're just wacky. I don't know. But tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell your friend. Tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell a lover. Tell a partner.
Some of these episodes, I feel like you're better off telling it. Make one of your...
Right. Somebody. Tell somebody. How about that? So, all right. Well,
thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to the Shine Bro Podcast.
That was the outro, brother.
Yeah. Oh no.
The end.